So, this is it. The moment I have been waiting for quite some time. My Oculus Quest 2 1-year review. And with the videos I've been making recently, you might think I absolutely hate the device. No, I just have a gripe with Facebook for all the things they did that I don't think were entirely fair. But this device is absolutely the opposite of what I would call bad. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly what I and other people think about it. This is not one of my normal videos. This was a larger project, taking multiple months to finish creation. In fact, we traveled all the way to Poland in order to make this project happen. So, to us, it's a little bit more than just a review. However, that being said, let's get right into the review. So here we are. About 3/4 of a year later, the Oculus Quest 2, a device that completely changed the way I look at VR and completely changed the way I play VR. It was released back in October of 2020, with two models being present, one for $299, and that was the 64GB model, and one for $399, being the 256GB model. We were all watching Oculus Connect live, anticipating the release, and I was spamming the buy now button, thinking that it was probably going to be out of stock within minutes. A little while later, it arrived in our hands, and ever since then, I've absolutely loved the device. However, to help you understand why this device was such a big deal and why it was one of the first of its kind, I feel like I need to bring you back a little bit. This is the Oculus Quest 1. It was released back in May of 2019, and it was the first standalone VR headset of this caliber that we had ever seen. No phone required, no PC required. Everything you do on the headset itself. It was something nobody ever saw. Facebook had created an affordable VR device for the masses, and you wouldn't even need a PC to run it. This is where it all started. This is the device that brought me into the world of standalone wireless VR that I can bring anywhere with me, and it is an amazing device. However, this is not the device we are talking about today. This is the device we're talking about today, the Oculus Quest 2. It was released about 1 year after the Oculus Quest 1, with improvements that not many people actually saw coming. There were some downsides, like for example the use of an LCD panel instead of an OLED one, and the lack of an actual proper IPD slider, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. The Quest 2 was way more powerful, rocking an XR2 instead of an 865, which was the CPU in the first Oculus Quest. Not only that, but Facebook managed to make it even cheaper. This is the device that rocked 2020 with sales of VR that we have never seen before. Steam VR usage that has just never happened. And while this thing is incredible and is amazing, it also has its downsides, and that is exactly what we will be talking about today. So first of all, let's talk about the specs. The Oculus Quest 2 has a single fast switching LCD with 1832 by 1920 pixels per eye. The panel originally started with a 72Hz refresh rate. However, it has now been brought up all the way to 120Hz, which can be enabled within experimental settings inside the headset, giving you the smoothest standalone experience we have had to date. It's got an XR2 for its CPU and 6GB of RAM. It's also got a Type-C port and a 3.5mm audio jack, just in case you want to connect your own headphones. The USB-C port, of course, is there for charging and data transfer, in case you want to use something like the Oculus Link. It's also got 3 adjustable IPD options that will unfortunately not fit everyone. Preset 1 is about 58mm, preset 2 is about 63mm, and preset 3 is about 68mm. While you can set these in between, what we found, you can kind of force them to stay in place, it's not an ideal solution. And I myself would definitely much more have preferred that little slider that we had on the Quest 1. So first of all, let's talk about its largest upside, the standalone capabilities. After all, that's what this device is. It's a standalone VR headset. You don't need a phone, you don't need a PC. So what does that mean? Why is that beneficial? Of course, it's going to have less power than a PC, but to me, personally, that freedom of not having a wire, not having to be tethered to anything, is actually entirely worth it. The fact that I can bring this device with me absolutely anywhere, and I mean anywhere. I've traveled with this thing more times than I can remember, and show it off to people, show them the beauty of VR. The fact that if I ever feel bored, let's say at the airport, and I'm waiting for my gate to open, I can pull this thing out and start playing. The fact that I can watch movies on it on a TV of a size I could only imagine is incredible. And while Facebook does tell you that you should not be bringing this thing outside and that the sun's rays are, well, harmful to it, that's never stopped me from doing so. And while I don't recommend you doing it, it's certainly one of the factors that puts it on the map for me. I absolutely love the fact that this thing is standalone, and currently there are no competitors to it. So this is always my go-to when it comes to travel. The standalone capability doesn't come without its downsides though. All your games will not look as good as they would look on PC, of course, and I think people buying this device understand that. And if you want to use the Link or AirLink or virtual desktop to connect it to your PC, you will get compression that you wouldn't normally get over, say, a DisplayPort connection. However, I do have to mention that has gotten a lot better throughout the updates, especially the last one. I feel like if we're talking about standalone headsets, we need to talk about the way it tracks. Because of course there are no base stations tracking its movement, and the way it tracks is through 4 cameras on the headset itself. And they call this their inside-out tracking system, with a boundary they call the Guardian protecting you from hitting anything inside your home. Now, I've found that the inside-out tracking actually works incredibly well. I think Oculus have absolutely pioneered this to what it could have become. I would say it's pretty much almost flawless. It handles fast movements very, very well, and while some people will tell you that you just can't play Beat Saber on it because the fast movements just confuse it, I will have to disagree. To me, inside-out tracking works really well, except for when it doesn't. The updates on this headset are very hit or miss, and while they fix a bunch of things, they can also break a lot, and it's incredibly random as to what it breaks and who it breaks it for. Some people still have not received the 120Hz update. Some people still have not received couch tracking. The features that you get are incredibly random, and at times you might not even receive them. There has been speculation that Facebook actually pulled back the 64GB Oculus Quest because it did not support 120Hz. Because it had worse panels. How true that is, I have no clue. And myself, personally, I have not had too many issues with the updates. Only in the latest one does my Guardian sometimes just not register when I take off the headset and put it on a few seconds later. So I just tend to disable it. Not a very big issue for me, but I know a lot of people have had problems. Another huge benefit of this device is the fact that it can also be a PCVR headset. So not only do you get a standalone VR headset, but you also get a PCVR headset. And that isn't the end of it. It's a wireless PCVR headset. Whether you want to use AirLink or virtual desktop, you have that possibility of using it completely wirelessly with your PC. And to a lot of people, that idea of not having a wire tangling around you is a very big deal. And in fact, a lot of people bought the 64GB Oculus Quest 2 only for that reason, to use it as a PCVR headset. So, what do I think about the device? Just before I give you my final verdict, here are some other people's verdicts. So I give you Axe.
Hey, it's Axerols. Today I'll be telling you my impressions on the Quest 2. I started my VR experience first with mixed reality, as it was the most popular budget option at the moment when I discovered VR, and I've been using it for like a year. And then the experience worsened a bit because the facial interface started disintegrating. I just didn't have any drive to play VR after that until Oli gifted me a Quest 2. So far, I've been enjoying it a lot. Honestly, it's a very versatile thing. I think for even a person who never touched VR before, it's really easy to start using. Just the overall setup process is really easy, and it has social features like Messenger, so you can flex on the soccer moms, you know? So from Standalone Aspect, it's an amazing headset. Honestly, as a person who pretty much used PCVR most of the time, the Standalone Aspect is pretty nice to me. Most of the time I play Beat Saber, so it's almost the same thing on Quest 2. It looks visually the same, and if you mod it, it's gonna be almost like on the PC. I didn't really notice any big differences, and I think in general in other games it can perform really well on standalone. It's coming in handy a lot if you travel and you don't have a gaming PC that you can carry with you. That's basically, for me personally, what the portability aspect of it. And at home I can use a wireless connection to play VR games, and it's really versatile. It's if you have like a good router and good Wi-Fi, it will run amazingly. And without the virus, it's a completely different thing. You feel more freedom in movement and no restrictions whatsoever. Personally, I think Quest 2 is what mobile VR tried to become in the past years, and well, it achieved it very well. The most important thing is the controls, because on mobile there's no possibility to make controls like in normal VR headsets. Honestly, me personally, I literally don't give a shit about my own privacy, so Facebook Aspect, not a problem for me. The software was pretty easy to navigate, install stuff from. It's almost like using a smartphone, although that depends on how good you are with smartphones. So yeah, it's something familiar to what you have been using already, and that's why it was pretty easy for me to get used to it. And from all the headsets that I've been using, which is only 2, I think it has the easiest way of setting up the boundary area. It's extremely simple, and yeah, issues with updates are not really consistent, as I noticed. For some people it can improve things, for some people it can worsen things. In my case personally, I've seen some improvements, while other people on the same version seen more issues.
And now we have Bailey, also known as I Ate My Cat on the Discord.
The Quest 2, for the time I sort of had it, it's been a really good experience. There has been ups and downs with it, like, I'm not gonna lie, but that's expected with a device that's £299 or euros or dollars or whatever the conversion rate is. This headset did get me into VR, and it's been a pretty good experience. It's been mixed. I've had issues with it, like especially the strap. This thing's caused me some issues, and so is this thing. When I bought it initially, this thing broke in about under a month. It's a good alternative to the default one, like, definitely, because it offers that more support on the back of your head, so you're not sort of, it's not falling down your face, as per se. The head strap's okay, like it for 50, it does what it's supposed to. Granted, it doesn't break, obviously. VR cover, that's another thing that I've had an issue with. Obviously you can tell it sort of brought up the rash on my face, and it hasn't really gone away. I don't think that's really an issue with a VR cover. I think that's just my skin type. It may not agree with this, because VR cover, honestly, compared to the like default one, it's so much better. Like just from a standpoint of comfiness, it makes a big difference, and if it gets sweaty, you can just wipe it off, like it's done. Yeah, really that's my short thought on it. Quest 2, if you want to get into VR on like a decent budget, 300 quid, that's pretty good for this headset. And for someone that's looking for, well, to get into the VR space, it's a very good headset. And I mean, this is the one you should get, like 150%, and that's someone that hasn't experienced VR before. Like, VR headsets could be better, but this device here, amazing device. Like, honestly, I didn't expect it to be this good. But yeah, that's my final conclusions. Have a good one.
So there you guys go. 2 other people's opinions. I also had Eddie's opinion, but I could see that he didn't really feel comfortable being on camera, so just out of respect, I'm not gonna put it in. Essentially, people love this headset. People that bought this headset have no regrets. I yesterday made a video saying 64 gigabytes was a mistake. People that have the 64 gigabyte model don't see a problem with it. And I mean, that's cool, I'm really happy for you. I'm just worried. If you watched that video yesterday, you would understand my opinion and why I think the 64 gigabyte model was a mistake. I don't think the Quest 2 was a mistake, in general, which is why the video isn't called Oculus Made a Big Mistake or some clickbait title like that. It's a fantastic device, and my year with it has been absolutely amazing. The fact that I could show VR to so many more people and bring it around with me and bring VR with me, something that wasn't necessarily possible with the Rift CV1 and the Rift S before. The fact that I can be anywhere around the world and still be in my virtual space. It's amazing. This thing has been great fun for the entire family. My aunt has tried it. My uncle has tried it in Poland because, again, I can bring it around with me. My mom loves playing on this thing. I just taught her how to download songs on Beat Saber, and now she can basically play on her own. We have our weekly Demio sessions on this thing. It's incredible. The entire family is into it, and I can actually say now that VR is fun for the entire family. Something I couldn't say earlier because, well, I only have one gaming PC, which means we could never play together. Now my mom takes the Quest 2, my dad takes the Quest 1, and I take the Pimax. Just before we talk about PCVR, let's briefly talk about the controllers. These things are a modified version of the Oculus Rift S and Oculus Quest 1 controllers. They're now white, just like everything else, gets dirty easily, but they're much more comfortable. They went back to a design language we had known from the CV1, and they're a little bit larger, allowing for just a much more comfortable grip. I've also got these grips on them from VR Cover that allow me to fully let go of them. And just overall, they're very functional. The touch controllers I've always found were very functional, and I guess it's why a lot of companies just outright copy them, even though I would like to see some innovation in that space. And no, just in case you didn't know yet, these don't have full finger tracking. Only your thumb, your index finger, and your middle finger. And I feel like it's quite important to mention this device as a PCVR headset. A lot of people buy this device to use it as a PCVR headset, because it is the cheapest PCVR headset that isn't only a PCVR headset, that has 120 Hz and can be made standalone anytime you like. When I use this headset as a PCVR headset, which I do quite a bit just because of its ease of use, the fact that I can just press a button, turn it on, slide it onto my head, done, connects to PC through virtual desktop, boom. That's exactly my point. I use it wirelessly, and wirelessly I'm going to have more compression than if you were to use it through a link cable. The thing is, to me, that compression just kind of disappears after a while. When I'm immersed, I just don't see it. I just don't care. That's how insignificant it is to me. But do keep in mind, I've got a pretty flawless network connection, and I'm getting pretty stable local speeds. So that could also be thanks to my internet connection. But there's always the link, and it's a great PCVR headset. Let's talk about the updates. I know I've already said that they can break stuff and fix stuff, but I do want to acknowledge the fact that they come very plentifully. We have gotten so much updates on the Oculus Quest 2 since release. First of all, we got the 90Hz update, and then after that we got the 120Hz update. There's been multiple updates fixing hand tracking and improving it, allowing me to now basically use my headset without my controllers if I don't want to play a game that requires them. We've gotten couch tracking, desk tracking, and keyboard tracking. We have the new pass-through API that allows us to use games pretty much in AR mode. The updates are amazing, and do remember that most of the time they work. It's very unfortunate when they don't, but we can see that Facebook cares about this device. I mean, just the amount of updates that we get and how much they improve shows us that, which further on makes me think that this device will be updated for years to come, hopefully. After owning it for 1 year, it's still here in one piece, and I don't exactly treat this thing with too much respect. I throw it around in my bag, sure it has a case of its own, but it has taken a few drops. And yet, it's still all together. I have the Elite head strap on it, which is an accessory you can purchase. This one is the one with battery that makes it a lot more comfortable. But this accessory is difficult for me to recommend because they tend to snap. My one is still holding up though. The original facial interface also had to be replaced. It really doesn't feel very well, and a lot of people were actually getting rashes from it. So that got fixed in later on iterations where Facebook sent out a newer version. This is a fantastic little device. Sure, you have to have a Facebook login, which a lot of people hate. I personally just don't care. I don't like what Facebook does, and I don't like multiple of their business practices, but that doesn't change the fact that this is the best device for this price that you can get, full stop, which is the only thing most people are going to care about. They have improved upon so much from the Oculus Quest 1 and taken away things that can be fixed. For example, comfort out of the box was much better on the Quest 1, but once again, that can be fixed with a custom head strap and a better facial interface. However, they've improved on the panels inside, maybe not in terms of blacks and colors, but in terms of refresh rate, which is unbelievably important for VR, and resolution, basically completely eliminating screen door effect, meaning you can't see the pixels in here. The tracking on it is very good, and the updates can be hit or miss, but you gain some, you lose some. Recommending this device currently, right now, on the 1st of October is very difficult, because literally in about 27 days time, Facebook Connect is happening. And during Facebook Connect, we have a very high probability of another device being announced, possibly even cheaper and better than the Oculus Quest 2. Use this review as a thing going forward. After Oculus Connect, if you still feel like buying it, I wholeheartedly support you. It's a fantastic headset. Maybe used, because, you know, if Facebook releases a new one, they won't be selling this one anymore. If Oculus now releases a new headset, it doesn't mean that this headset is bad. If you can find it for a cheaper price, which will definitely be possible if Facebook does release a new one, go for it. If price is what matters to you. This device, I can only imagine, is going to remain supported for a very, very long time. The Quest 1 is still being supported. Sure, some games don't appear on the Quest 1 anymore, but updates are still coming. And updates are very plentiful on these devices. But yeah, that is going to be it for today's video. It was a little bit of a different one. I know, I've been waiting a very long time to release this, and I think it's finally time. So thank you all so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the video. No, I hope you all have a fantastic day or night. If you guys liked the video, please leave a like. If you guys disliked it, I guess this button works too, but please tell me why down in the comment section below. If you guys are not yet part of our community, make sure to join our Discord down below, make sure to join our Reddit, where I want to see you posting your spicy memes. If you guys would like to support the channel in any way, shape, or form, we've got sick mugs down below that boost your FPS by 300%, and merch that doesn't put a huge ad on your body. And if you guys want to be notified about future content coming up on the channel daily, make sure to smack the subscribe button with your forehead, ding my bell, and see you again in the next video. Peace.